Good morning everyone and welcome to the channel. Today's episode is all about setting up the new shop space, getting some lighting in there. The French Cleat Tool Wall is going up, so we'll finally have our tools laid out in there. And we're also going to fix one of our tools with 3D printing. And if you haven't seen the first two videos in this series, I'll have them linked down below so you don't miss out on all the fun we've already done. Alright, so the first thing I gotta do is get some of these lights down that are up top. I haven't figured out a plan as far as how I'm gonna lay them out in the new shop space, and I also don't know how I'm gonna reorganize them in here yet. The first step, I think, is really just taking them down. So let's get right into it. Alright, so we've got the lights down in this space. I took about 5 lights down in here, reorganized some of the ones that I had in here prior, just to give the lighting layout a little bit more usefulness to me at the current stage of the game. Next up is going into the new shop space and getting them hung up in there so we can actually see what we're doing. Okay, so these little guys here are what I use to hang up those LED light strips. And over the course of the last 5 or 6 years, I've lost pretty much all of them. I've got 4 or 5 of them left, but that's not going to be enough to hang up all of the lights we have. So I'm going to go online and see if there's a 3D printable file that we can print out that will help us hang these lights up.
Alright, and for this I'm going to head over to printables.com and just search for LED light clip. And this one looks to be about the right size, just judging by the clips that are in the Amazon listing that he provided. So I'm going to go ahead and download this one, open up Orca Slicer and start a new project for the P1P. Import our clip right there. And I'm not really going to do much to it other than change the profile settings over to my PETG settings for the Elegoo Rapid PETG. With that said, this would print just fine and work just as well with PLA. I just wanted to use some PETG for this one.
Alright, so this print just finished up. Let's take it off the build plate and see. Looks like we had a little issue with the first layer. Seems fairly sturdy. Not sure what exactly happened here. Let's see if it fits. Well, not quite. It's just a little bit too small. So maybe this was designed for one that's a smaller bulb. I think this is actually a T8. Yeah, this is a T8. This clip was designed for a T5, I believe. One of the great things about these slicer programs is you can just go in and scale it to the size that you need. So I'm going to go into Orca Slicer, extend this out a little bit, maybe make it a little bit deeper, reprint one copy just to test fit it, and then if all goes well, I'll reprint enough to hang 6 lights. Alright, so I've got the new piece here. Hopefully this one will fit a little better. That right there is an awesome fit. It allows it to slide, but it doesn't come off unless you want it to. So I'm going to go ahead and get 12 more of these things printed out for the 6 lights we're going to hang up over in the new shop space. Alright, so it is really dark in this space without any artificial light. It's a closed garage. There is only one light source coming from behind the camera. That is why I'm standing here. With that said, I only have one outlet that is controlled by a light switch, so I think that's going to be perfect for putting our lights on. The only issue with these LED lights is the connector cable they come with is only about 6 inches long, so you either have to put them really close together or you have to use multiple power cables to power your set of lights. And for this instance, I am going to use 2 sets of power cords because I want to spread the light out further in the garage than the typical 6-inch cords would allow me to. And while I'm waiting for the other ones to finish 3D printing, I'm going to use the clips that I have to get a couple of the lights up. Alright, now that there's a little bit of light in here to see what we're doing, I'm going to go ahead and start getting this French Cleat Tool Wall up. Because this is a smaller space and I don't have as many tools as I did over there, I'm only going to be utilizing about 4 feet or so of the French Cleat Wall instead of the full 6 to 7. I guess the only other thing that's different about this as well is where the screw holes are going to line up. It's pretty good. So you say, does that look level? That doesn't look very level. It says it's level. Okay. I'm gonna trust the iPhone's level. Famous last words. Alright, I've got the French Cleat Tool Wall all set up behind me in the tool area. Very happy with how this shop space is coming along. Those 3D prints are almost finished, so let's get in there, see what they look like, and then get the rest of those lights up. Alright, next up on the agenda today is getting a clamp rack modeled for these F-style clamps. We're going to do that in Fusion, and then we're going to print them out on the Bambu Lab P1P. Alright, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to show you just how you can find your files online, and you don't even have to have any knowledge of 3D modeling. I was going to go in there and model it myself, but I thought, you know, somebody's probably done this before, and sure enough, they have. It's real easy to go on to Printables, MakerWorld, Yegi, Thingiverse, Thangs, Cults 3D. There's so many sites out there with millions of free files and paid files. You just got to do a little bit of research for it. And for this print, I'm going to use a navy blue PLA from Elegoo. It is a matte PLA, so it's not the strongest in terms of materials. So we're going to see how this holds up out in the shop.
Alright, just going to get the Rapid PETG swapped out for this matte blue PLA. And it only took me 3 or 4 minutes actually to find the clamp rack that I was looking for. Originally when I went on to Printables and searched for it, I wasn't able to find something. I checked MakerWorld and ended up through Yegi getting a link to Printables for the one I was looking for.
Alright, I'm going to get the settings in here changed up just so we know we're going back to PLA. Alright, so we've got our navy blue. Let's just see. It's going to take 4 hours and 50 minutes and use just over 1/4 of a spool. And we're going to call this F-style clamp rack AMS1. That way, if we ever have to print it again, we'll know what to use the first slot in the AMS. Alright, I'm going to hit send. Alright, and we will return in about 5 hours to see how it works.
That's got some heft to it for a 3D printed part. Let's get some clamps and see if they fit in here. All right, so I got one of my
Well, that is where we're going to wrap this one up. We've got lights in here now. We've got our tools hung up on the wall. We've got most of the woodworking stuff moved from the old space into the new space. In the next episode, we're going to get some of the wood organized and get it up onto some racks. That way we can get it out of the floor. And that one is only 1 week away, so if you aren't subscribed, be sure to click that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any tips or tricks that you use in your wood shop or 3D print farm, be sure to leave them in the comments below. And until next time, take care.